Hi there, I'm Stacy, the Encaustic mixed media artist behind Studio Stacy. Encaustic literally means to burn in. So I paint with beeswax and a torch, and because it's mixed media, pretty much anything else I can get my hands on. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Consider subscribing and joining this artsy community. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, which helps me get introduced to more like-minded artsy folks like yourself. Hi there, and welcome to another studio vlog. Earlier, I got this countertop back there all cleaned off from the previous video. Got the watercolor different experiments taped into my sketchbook, which I'm guessing you may have already seen a few snippets of that. But the space is now cleared back off, and I got a large package in the mail that I thought I would open up with y'all today. Got some asuka and some tunguchu. I'll put the names of them, proper spelling, in here. And they both came from Hiromi Paper Supply, and I actually found some larger sheets of the asuka paper. I had mentioned, I think in a previous video, that I only had 8.5 by 11 sheets and I wanted larger sheets. This also comes in a big roll, but the big roll was quite expensive, and I wasn't sure if I was going to use all of the paper, so I got them in these sheets. And I think, I'm gonna look down here, yeah, they are 17 by 22, so they're a pretty good size. And then the tunguchu is plenty large enough. So I'll flip the camera out and show you the paper here real quick. All right, this is the asuka, and you can see, I think it's 48 gypsum, so it's not super thin, but it's not real thick either. So that's the asuka, and you could see kind of the overall size of it compared to my hand. It's quite nice size. And then this is the tungucha, which is incredibly thin. Let me see here. So this is almost like tissue paper, even I think lighter than tissue paper. So but I know what I want to do with this, and this I'm going to do more leaf prints on. So stay tuned for that video. More leaf printing, yes, I know, but it's not going to be in this video, I don't think. So for right now, I'm going to stick these two papers away into the map drawers and probably kind of call it today in the studio. I have so many things that I have to do over in the barn dominium, so I'm going to go do that. And it is rather frosty out, so it's a bit chilly today. One more quick thing before I let you go today, because I forgot to mention that I also did some sketching of the sycamore tree and the American beech tree. And what I'm trying to do with these trees is make them look different. So not just a generic kind of tree, make them look more like a sycamore tree. And the sycamore tree, the branches are really kind of, if you look closely, they're irregular in shape. Like they kind of twist and turn and go all over the place in this with the sycamore tree. Versus the American beech looks a little bit more like your typical tree, and there's a lot more branches at the top of the tree than at the bottom of the tree. So that's what I was kind of trying to do with these two sketches. I think, again, more sketching needs to be done on them before I turn them into an actual painting, but stay tuned for that as well. And I think when I pick you back up next, I'm going to try to be doing some sketching and some painting of the bark of perhaps both of these two trees, because their bark is very different from each other as well. So stay tuned for that in just a few for you all. Good morning all. I've got the wax turned on here in the studio, and it is a sunshiny kind of day out there. It's supposed to be rather warm today, and the sun is shining, so it makes me rather happy. Fortunately, all the snow is gone, but at any rate. Again, I always pick up the camera and tell you all about the weather, but somehow it's fascinating to all of us, I think. Anyways, in the studio, as you can probably tell, and today's plan is to sketch out some sycamore bark, tree bark. And again, I'm just kind of slowly starting to build up ideas in my head for what these future paintings are going to look like, and just part of the process. Also, I'll flip the camera around and I keep looking down over here because my drip tray on the griddle is rather full, so I think I'm gonna dump that into this like melting pot, if you will, and then just kind of get that cleaned out and probably make a silly kind of, maybe hopefully not too ugly of a gray color. So yeah, we'll see. Anyways, that's today's plan here in the studio. All right, I'm gonna let those wax drips, those wax drips melt down while I work on these, and I'll flip the camera around here and show you the setup. But basically, I've already put down some clear encaustic medium down on some watercolor paper, and I've just done like 2 layers of that real quickly. I've got out 3 different paintbrushes, and I'm gonna get out some different colors of wax. But yeah, I'll flip the camera out here and show you better. All right, this is just scrap watercolor paper. There's some like splotches of things on the backs of these. It's nothing, you know, fantastic or anything like that. And I just quickly put down 2 layers of encaustic medium. I think you can see there's, you know, I wasn't real careful about getting it perfectly smooth or anything. I just wanted to get some medium down so that the paint didn't completely absorb into the paper. Not that that would have been a bad thing, but I'm just trying to kind of conserve some of the paint a bit, if you will. So yeah, so I've got 4 of those. I don't know if I'll use all 4 or how many I'll use, but I've got them. And then these are the 3 different sizes of paintbrushes, some smaller tips since I'm working with some smaller pieces of paper, all natural bristle brushes, and then yeah, let me get out some encaustic paint. I also wanted to show you, I have my phone here with, if that glare's bad, I think maybe that's a little bit better, with some images of some sycamore trees that I've taken from around our property. So it's kind of my reference image there. All right, here are the two just quick kind of half hour, 45 minutes maybe at the most, sketches of the tree bark, and that's what the original looks like. I'm gonna try something slightly different with this one, and you might have seen me put another layer of encaustic medium on this in the time lapse. It might have kind of blipped a bit for you to see that, but let me show you, let me try to zoom in on this picture and show you kind of what I'm thinking of doing with this one and why I put an extra layer of encaustic medium down. All right, I'm going to try to keep this focused and not get a glare, but I think you can see along the edge of some of those jagged areas, it's a little bit whiter. And I think, and there's a little bit more shadows kind of going on overall. So let me pan back over to these sketches. All right, so in this one, I think you can tell, I tried to kind of like what you might call dry brush over some of these areas with the lighter cream colored paint. If I zoom in on these areas here, I think you can kind of see that dry brushing going on with the cream colored paint over some of these. And basically that dry brushing technique is just letting the wax cool off on the brush and then brushing it onto a cooler surface. And that just kind of, it doesn't put the paint all on completely evenly. Hopefully that makes sense. Kind of picks up on the raised areas. And then if I pan over to this one, I didn't do as much dry brushing on it, and I'm going to try to etch into it and then rub some oil stick in, which is why I added an extra layer of encaustic medium, so there's an extra layer of paint to etch into. I'm just, you know, trying to experiment and see what works with these. So I have this little etching sharp tipped, I don't know if it's an awl, but this is what I'm going to use to scrape into that wax. All right, so now I'm going to take some oil stick. I've got some paper towels, some gloves to put on my hands, and some titanium white oil stick and some coconut oil. So basically I'm going to rub the oil stick all over this painting, try to get it to sink into some of those lines, and then take paper towels and wipe the excess off. The coconut oil is just to get even more of it off, and you just need a tiny bit, but I'll probably stick you on time lapse while I do this, because once I stick the gloves on and I have the oil stick all over my hands, I don't want to touch the camera. So that's the plan. All right, here are the two side by side. This has the oil stick on it. I think you can clearly see that in the camera. I think it looks pretty good with the oil stick on it. The only question I have is if I would stick with the white oil stick or add a darker color in. But a couple close-ups there of it. And then this is without the oil stick. The oil stick definitely adds an extra layer of dimension to it. So I'm happy with the oil stick one. I mean, I'm happy with both of them, but I think I like this one a little bit better. All right, I think the last thing to do is dump this drip tray color, which actually you already saw the color because I decided to use it in these sketches. So it's this kind of, I don't know, mauve-y color. It's kind of a pretty color actually. So you never know what you're gonna get when you clean out the drip tray, but I'm just gonna dump that into this little mini silicone mold, and when it completely hardens, it'll look like one of these. So that's pretty emptied out, and I think what I'm gonna do is just take the rest of this and stick it in there and then start the next drip tray wax paint color. Alright, I think this is where I'm gonna leave you for today in the studio, and most likely for this video. It seems to be kind of a good stopping point for this video. Stay tuned, more painting videos will be coming your way. I think I'm gonna switch gears slightly, which is why this feels like a good stopping point. I don't know, just in the mood to maybe perhaps redo a painting next week. We'll see. At any rate, stay tuned for that. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. It truly, truly does help me out. If you have any questions or just want to say hi, you can do that down below in the comment section. I love hearing from you all. And yeah, I think that is it. Thanks so very, very, very much for following along. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.